Very good evening to you and welcome to this night here from our studios at Rich in Accra, the Aquia Wahima studio. I am Bright Nana Kwesi. I'm coming up in the next 60 minutes. Now, the deadline for the SIM card re-registration has been extended by the Ministry of Communications to the 30th of September 2022. And also an amount of 5 Ghana cedi has been stated by the Minister for Communications, ESLA, also to be paid when the app is finally launched on the 2nd of August. We'll also bring you some update on the number of fires that has hit Accra in recent times in the conversation with the Ghana National Fire Service here on the news tonight. This National Front in Democratic Republic of Congo, several persons have recorded to have been shot in the country by the UN. We'll tell you more. Stay with us.
For what people?
Are all pleading for NCA to give an extension at least a couple of months more.
We raised our schedules to go and do it, but then you go and they disappoint you.
And once again, you are welcome to the news here on Metro TV. Now, if you have not re-registered your SIM card, you have up to the 30th of September 2022 to do so. And this according to the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, ESLA Owusu Ekufo.
Many people have been struggling to re-register their SIM cards as required by the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization. The exercise, scheduled to end on Sunday, 31st July 2022, witnessed some challenges amidst public outcry for an extension.
People are here from other regions and have still not gotten their cards. Can't the government open centers in all regions? Are we taking this Ghana card to heaven?
The National Identification Authority was partly to be blamed for people's inability to register their SIMs due to delays in getting the Ghana card, a prerequisite for the SIM registration.
This card has my name misspelled. Almost everyone here is equally facing same challenge. I'm better off writing the names than them.
They misspelled my name. They excluded A in my name, Joanna, and because of that, I am not able to re-register my SIM.
However, speaking at the press briefing on Sunday, Minister of Communications and Digitalization, ESLA Owusu Ekufo, blamed the lackadaisical attitude of applicants for the average coverage so far.
The statistics indicate that there was a 90% drop in SIM registrations as soon as the first deadline was extended on 21st March. Until a week ago, there were no queues at any registration center. People started rushing to register when they realized that the deadline was imminent after going to sleep when it was extended. About 50% of those who have completed the first stage of the process have not concluded the second stage. They have linked their SIMs to the Ghana card, and so that cannot be attributed to Ghana card challenges. I've also been informed that some people who have obtained quick loans from their service providers have decided not to register their SIMs to avoid repaying those loans. That is evil corruption, and you will be found out.
She announced a deadline extension to September 30th for the SIM cards re-registration.
The program will be extended to 30th September to end on the anniversary of its commencement. That will give us 1 full year of SIM registration. It will be reviewed at the end of this month, and any SIM that has not been fully registered by the end of August will be barred from receiving certain services, including voice and data services. It will also be more expensive to use unregistered SIMs. The full range of punitive measures will be announced at another press briefing in September. Kindly do not blame your service provider when you suffer that fate due to your own inaction. To be forewarned is to be forearmed.
Let's now bring you details on a breakdown of the number of SIM cards that have not registered and that have also been registered so far, according to the Communications Minister, Ursula Owusu. And now it says on your screen, category, number and percentage. These are the national registration details as of the 28th of July 2022. The voice SIM cards only. Total voice SIMs as at that date stands at 42,121,921. Percentage-wise, 100%. So stage 1 of the registration stands at 25,260,661. And it stands at 60%. Stage 1 of unregistered SIM cards is at 16,861,260 at 40%, and stage 2 registrations are 16,059,350, standing at 38%, with stage 2 unregistered SIMs at 26,062,571 at 62%. And also, according to the Communications Minister, Ursula Owusu, a number of parents have still not registered, mounting to about 62% of those who have not registered and linked their cards to the Ghana card. Now, Parliament's Communications Committee member, Sam Nate George, predicts the September 30 date set as deadline will not happen and that it will fail.
Trust me, it will fail again.
Is that what you're calling for doom?
It's not me. It's me being realistic. You see, technology is not a faith-based arena, and hope is not a strategy when you are dealing with tech. Yesterday, several media houses reported that the application for registration, even for the telcos, crashed. True or false? Because of the pressure on the system. You have an application that is now being launched. In about, 8 months or in about 10 months since this was launched in October, you've been able to register only 32%. 32% of SIM cards. The minister, per her own statistics, tells you there are 42 million active SIM cards. Let's even assume that every individual has 2 SIM cards, which is not the case. You are looking at 21 unique persons, 21 million unique individuals. She tells you that the NIA, as at 21st of July, had issued only 15.5 million. The NIA has been issuing cards since 2018. They've been able to issue only 15.5. And you think that because Ursula Owusu has a magic wand that she's waving, in 2 months, the NIA will be able to print the remaining 6 million cards, even if that's all we're looking at to get 21 million people? Do you think that is possible? And that's what I'm saying. She's set herself up again for ridicule. Because that is not, and you don't even know. She herself, in her press statement, said she hopes, barring any technical glitches, that the app will be available on the 2nd of August. What shows that when that app comes, there will be no bug issues. There will be no glitches. There will be no downtimes. You have not rolled it out. You have not done the stress. You've not had you've not gone live to see how the performance is in the first week, and you are setting deadlines. That's why I said, this shambolic performance of the Minister for Communications and Digitalizations will be studied for years in public policy classrooms across the.
And also, the ranking member of Parliament's Communications Committee, Sam Nate George, has described comments made by the Minister for Communications, Ursula Owusu, that sought to blame the National Democratic Congress, NDC, for the low turnout of the registration in Ghana as extremely irresponsible.
Extremely irresponsible, and it's behavior unbecoming of a minister who represents all Ghanaians. The minister has a penchant for thinking that she's a minister for MPP voters. She's a minister for the Republic of Ghana. paid by the taxes of NDC members, CPP members, PPP members, and all members of every political affiliation. So holding a national press conference on national TV and wrongfully accusing a political party is most regrettable and unfortunate and highly responsible, we must state. But again, to show you how childish the minister is, for want of a better phrase, is the minister saying to me, or saying to us, from her own statistics, 26 million out of 42 million SIM cards have not been registered. 62%, per her own statistics. Is she telling me that 62% of mobile card holders in this country are NDC members? If they are, then the NDC should have won the last election. You see the logic or lack of logic in the minister's statement? Her own statistics say 62% of SIM card holders in this country have not registered. And she claims that it is NDC members who didn't register. That shows you how intelligent the minister's logic is. Why did she not blame the NIA? Why did she not blame the unrest in Boku? Why did she want to place the blame on the doorstep of the NDC? That's why I'm saying that when you hold the high office of minister, you must have emotional intelligence and know where to position issues when you have failed in policy implementation. We have this mess, not because of any political party, but because the Minister for Communications and Digitalizations, Honorable Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, has failed in her mandate as Minister for Communications and Digitalization. If you're a minister and you have a mandate to execute a public policy, and the policy is so shambolic that even after you have given 2 extensions or you've given an extension, 62% have been unable to register. The minister gave a deadline of today. Yet the app that is supposed to allow self-registration is going to be live from 2 days in 2 days' time.
We would also be speaking to the member of the NDC, Ras Mubarak, who has for some time been criticizing the Communications Ministry for the way they have carried the re-registration of SIM cards here in Ghana, and also going all way to ensure that they even had a no phone call day here in Ghana. We'll do that later, but still, on the press briefing by Ursula Owusu, the Minister for Communications, Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, has announced that a self-service SIM registration app, which will be launched on August 2. Now, the app will enable the public to re-register their SIM cards in the comfort of their homes without having a queue at any network operator's office.
The SIM registration app will be available for download on both Android and iOS this week, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Each registration via the app will be subject to a 5 cedi surcharge. You will pay 5 cedis to register yourself on the SIM registration app. Non-resident Ghanaians who do not have the Ghana card can use their passports to complete the process via the app, but will be required to update their details with the Ghana card once they acquire it. They have up to December 2022 to do so. I urge them to comply with these directives and to contact the NCA if they have any peculiar challenges. Ghanaians on official assignment outside the country or students on scholarships who cannot acquire the Ghana card by December should also contact the NCA. Special provision has already been made for members of the diplomatic corps in consultation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, and they have been notified. It's also come to my knowledge that amputees and others who have some physical challenge are also a category of persons who are having some difficulties registering their SIMs. We will have discussions with the NIA on how to resolve these challenges. All visitors to Ghana can now acquire SIMs with their passports, and I encourage the airport authority to work with the network operators to provide adequate venues for the acquisition of SIMs at the airport. As indicated earlier, these will be valid for 3 months, and if they want to use them for a longer period, they must acquire the non-citizen ID card to validate their SIMs.
Meanwhile, concerned mobile network subscribers have rejected the move to charge for the use of a SIM registration app for re-registration following the extension of the deadline for the exercise. Now, joining us for a conversation is Ras Mubarak, former Member of Parliament for Kumbugu and member of the concerned mobile network subscribers. Hello and welcome, Ras Mubarak.
Very much. Good afternoon.
Great to have you here tonight. You demanded an extension of the deadline. It has been granted. This must be a good news to you.
Well, the minister's announcement was very, very disappointing. It lacked clarity. One expected that the minister would apologize to the Ghanaian public for the chaos that characterized the exercise. Unfortunately, she did not do so. She sought to even arrogantly say that she was extending the deadline grudgingly, or reluctantly rather, and I thought that was very, very unfortunate. You expect humility in public service. Unfortunately, that is not what we got from the minister. And more worrying is the fact that at a time Ghanaians are going through a lot of hardship, at a time there is a global recession and serious governments elsewhere are providing relief to their citizens, this government is seeking to impose further hardships on Ghanaians by illegally asking for people to pay a surcharge of 5 Ghana cedis. It is the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana that is clothed with the authority and mandate, to impose fees and charges. And clearly, as far as our information is concerned, the minister has not gone to Parliament to get parliamentary approval to be able to impose this 5 cedi surcharge. So you see a lot of insensitivity, you see a lot of arrogance, you see a lot of illegality in the way that the minister is carrying her affairs at the Ministry of Communications. Very, very unfortunate, I must say.
And if we're concerned about the amount of money that will be taken if one has to use the online app to register their SIM cards, what do you intend to do about yourself and your team?
Well, we would protest and encourage Ghanaians to not to pay this illegal, fees that the minister is asking Ghanaians to do. Because clearly, as I said, she hasn't sought the approval of the Parliament of the Republic, and you can't dip your hands into the pockets of the public, to take away their 5 cedis, especially in a manner that is very, very illegal. So. We would push back. We would encourage Ghanaians not to pay. And even if she went to Parliament and got approval, we would still encourage Ghanaians not to pay, because this is not a normal time for every Ghanaian. People are going through a lot of hardships, my brother. People are struggling and to seek to impose further burden on the public is most unfortunate and disgraceful.
Ras, now, a few weeks ago, yourself and the Association of SIM cards subscribers went on a demonstration, and you call that a no-calls day. So today during the press briefing for the Communications Minister, Esla Osu, she mentioned that there was a time where the NDC even incited their followers not to even make calls and re-register and all that. What do you make of this, the blame given to the NDC?
Well, she's extremely petty. She's a public servant. If she ought to be reminded, she works at the behest of the president. It is the taxpayers' money that is used to pay her. So when taxpayers are complaining about something, she can't come on a public platform and tell us that she reluctantly, decided to extend the period. She didn't have an option. She did not have an option. And we were looking forward to a situation where she would demonstrate some spine by blocking people's numbers. That is where she would have seen a mammoth pushback from the Ghanaian public against these kinds of overreach. The attempt to blame the NDC for her incompetence, for her arrogance, for her lack of due diligence in rolling out, the SIM registration exercise is most unfortunate. The NDC was not the one that gave the deadlines. The NDC was not the one that, did not think through an exercise like this. The NDC is not the party that did not go to Parliament to approval for a registration exercise. So if there's anyone to be blamed, it ought to be none other than the most arrogant Esla Osu.
And about 62% of Ghanaians are yet to have fully registered and linked their SIMs to their Ghana card. What message does this tell you?
Well, for me, I am encouraged by that, and I would use this opportunity to inform the Ghanaian public that they have the powers, to force the hand of government to do what is right and just for the Ghanaian people. If government is doing things illegally, we, the people, on whose authority the government runs, should be able to resist through boycotts, through protests. And if they so decide that after the 30th of September, if people have still not registered, as I expect, she would go ahead to block their numbers. Then probably she would see things that she's never seen in the country before. And that would include massive boycotts and demonstrations.
All right, and you just mentioned that you have the right to make government do what is right and just. What do you recommend be done to ensure that we have a smooth running of all this registration of SIM cards?
First of all, she should eat a humble pie. She should work within the confines of the law. The exercise, as we have said time and again, is not backed by law. Go back to Parliament, get parliamentary approval. This 5 Ghana cities that she's asking for has no parliamentary ratification. If she insists on getting that, on taking 5 cities away from Ghanaians who are already struggling, then she should humbly go back to Parliament and get the right things done. And she should be magnanimous. I mean, in times like this, you would expect some level of humility. You would expect some sensitivity to what people are going through, and not the exhibition and show of arrogance, as we have seen the minister express in the press statement. She came to the function late, and what was her excuse? She was attending an MPP function. Is the MPP more important than the activities of the state? She's a government minister. If she's forgotten, we ought to remind her that affairs of the state come well and above activities of the MPP. Okay? She's a government minister who is paid by the taxpayers. If she's forgotten about that, we ought to let her know.
All right.
That. And she ought to eat a humble pie and do the right thing by getting the necessary parliamentary ratifications.
Ras Marak is a former member of parliament for Kumbugu. He spoke to us on the registration press conference that was held earlier today by the communications minister, Esla Ekofo. Let's bring him on. So just so you know, a number of 62 persons who have not registered their cards or linked to their Ghana card stands at 26,062,541. Meanwhile, Ghanaians have taken to social media to express their views on the SIM re-registration extension. Here are some of them. Akosia Adepa Sherry says, please postpone it again. Why? Because I'm owning quick loan. And remember that the minister said people like this are reasons why it's not happening, because they intend not to register. Also says, if the government knew developing an app is doable in this exercise, why did they expose Ghanaians to wastage, productive hours and stress at registration centers? Question there being asked by Wofa. Mike also says, tell all those in queues to go home. The deadline has been extended. Let's meet again in long queues on the 31st of August. Eugene says they should find someone with a smart form to do the registration, if instead making easier for the people that put you guys in power, you keep making things worse for them. Eugenie Tego says this. And Michael again says, tell all those in queues to go home. The deadline has been extended. Let's meet again in long queues on the 31st of August. Twilight says, I was in the MTN queue, but I heard Ursula Owusu has postponed again upon all her guy. So I'm going back home. I will come on the next deadline day. Very interesting views there shared by Ghanaians online against what the Minister for Communications, Ursula Owusu, told us earlier today. And just so you know, the 30th of September will mark exactly 1 year when the re-registration of SIM cards started here in Ghana. It's 2 News Night. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Now, Accra has witnessed 4 fire outbreaks this weekend. In less than 48 hours, the first occurred at the Achimota Mall 7 Market. Appliances from Abilimpi headquarters and Legon were dispatched to the scene to douse the raging fire. The fire, which is believed to have started around 3 o'clock p.m. and destroyed 30 wooden structures as well as 50 metal containers used for commercial purposes, and their merchandise contents early this morning was reported at JNFS at 4-5 hours later. Another raging fire at the Akman Post Office area, an unknown boiling substance at the scene hindered the fire service personnel from advancing to the fire scene. Yet another incident occurred at the Accra Central Business Abuja Market at about 2 p.m. Ghana time. Another fire at Agbogba was recorded. The Medina Fire Station and another appliance from Adenta Fire Station visited the site to extinguish the fire. Due to the hazardous nature of some contained at one of the fire scenes, a fireman suffered an injury and was transported to a police hospital.
Very severe raging fire here at Akuman around the post office. It's so far we have about 4 appliances, and more appliances are on its way. The fire is really raging, and as you can see, the gentlemen from Efe Alpha are having a very hard time trying to battle the fire from this angle. We're adding extra hoses to be able to fight this fire. The fire spread within a confined area, and there are a lot of combustible materials, and there are some vehicles also around, some houses, fitting shops. The fire is, if I'm not mistaken, it's even serious than the fire from yesterday. This is a very worrying trend after just 24 hours of a similar fire incident. This is a very boiling substance. We all don't know what substance it is, but very dangerous. And this is what is hindering our men from fighting the fire.
Let's talk more on this, and we'll be joined on Zoom by ACFO Timothy Osafo Efum to tell us what exactly is happening here in Ghana concerning the number of fires that have been recorded in Accra alone. Now, good evening to you, sir. Before you even speak, how is your officer who got injured faring?
He's currently doing well. He's responding to treatment and has been treated and discharged.
We can only wish him a speedy recovery. Now, 4 separate fire outbreaks in less than 48 hours in Accra must be concerning. What have your investigations found?
Thank you very much. All 4 are still under investigations. We could not pinpoint exactly what were the causes as at the time after firefighting. And so we'll do further investigation to come out of exactly the causes of all these fires that we recorded.
And how long are you to expect this outcome of the investigations?
I cannot tell. Some investigations may not take long, others will take a while. And so we will not be able to tell until we're able to come out with exactly what caused the fires.
All right, but then the outbreaks come at a time when the service is stepping up its sensitization and proactive drives, seen for instance at the simulation exercise at the Achimota Mall earlier this week. What are we not getting right as a country and people?
What we are not getting right is the attitude of Ghanaians. Ghanaians are not serious about fire safety issues. Issues concerning fire safety, we don't take them seriously. And especially, it has even improved nowadays, especially when we go out there for outreach. You don't get the people coming in to listen. But I must also say that in recent times, we are getting the numbers, but it is not appreciable as we had expected.
And what is the target?
Yes, like the chief officer indicated from the beginning of the year, we intend to reduce the rate of increase every year by 60% this year, and we are on course. We'll be achieving that.
So you said 60%, but what is the percentage as of now?
For now, because January and February we had an upsurge in fire outbreaks in the country, we've been able to achieve about 35% as I speak now, but we will still hit our target.
All right, and you also earlier mentioned that Ghanaians are not serious when it comes to fire and how it affects our daily lives. What more could be done aside what you are doing currently, your sensitization and all that?
Yes, I think we will still be educating and creating that awareness. We are giving them some time. We also have enforcing powers. And so if we see that they are still not cooperating, we'll enforce. When it gets to that level, we don't want anybody to come and say we are begging, we are begging, we are begging, because we have given Ghanaians ample time to accept the awareness creation that we are putting in place. And so if they are not accepting it and we get to the enforcement stage, then no one should come and plead for anybody.
All right, thank you for your time with us here on the news tonight. I'm speaking with ACFO Timothy Osafo Efum on the number of fires that have been recorded here in Accra over the weekend. 4 of them here in Accra only. Away from that, let's now talk about some health stories. Now, 1 person has died from monkeypox in the Bolgatanga municipality of the Upper East region. The Ghana Health Service, GHS, has confirmed a total of 13 people who are believed to have come into contact with the victim are being monitored by the Ghana Health Service. This regional directorate of the Ghana Health Service made this known in a statement. The Upper East Regional Director of Health Service, Dr. Emmanuel Kofi Dochi, noted that the confirmed case was identified after an investigation of 3 suspected monkeypox cases on July 22, 2022. This is the first confirmed case in the region. The confirmed case was seen on the 22nd of July this year at the Upper East Regional Hospital with a history of fever and skin rash. Unfortunately, the person died on the 26th of July, same year this year. He said as samples were taken on the 22nd of July for confirmation at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research in Accra. We received feedback on the 28th of July this year indicating the sample tested positive for the monkeypox disease. Doctor also stated that 13 persons who came into contact with the victim are currently being monitored but added that no additional case of monkeypox has been recorded as of July 31st, 2022. The doctor also stated that and indicating that his office has initiated measures to contain any further spread of the disease. He stated that the directorate has increased the surveillance on monkeypox disease through awareness creation and have activated all health emergency response teams to tackle the disease. Doctor also stated that appealing to residents in the region to avoid all forms of body contact and report cases of fever and skin rashes to the nearest health facility. The Ghana Health Service, GHS, earlier stated that Greater Accra, Ashanti, Bono East, Eastern, and Upper West had also recorded cases of the disease. On Saturday, July 23 this year, the World Health Organization, WHO, declared the monkeypox disease as a global public health emergency of international concern. Their classification is the highest alert that the WHO can issue and follows a worldwide upsurge in cases of monkeypox. From one health issue to the other, the Ghana Health Service is remaining optimistic about its ability to control the outbreak of the Marburg virus disease in Ghana. Despite 3 confirmed infections that led to 2 deaths, the service noted in a statement that the first batch of contact traced tested negative for the virus. There is more in the following report.
The Marburg virus in Ghana is yet to be detected. According to the Ghana Health Service, 118 contacts were initially identified and followed up, including the 2 who later tested positive. The remaining 116 contacts have completed the mandatory 21-day follow-up and are all well. In addition, the service said 16 contacts, including healthcare workers, were randomly tested and are all negative. A new set of 81 contacts for 2 of the cases are currently under follow-up, the service added. On July 25, 2022, the service reported 4 cases of Marburg virus disease following test results from the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. Repeat test results received from the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research on 28 July 2022 on a second case of 51-year-old male with known chronic disease and not linked to the first case were negative for Marburg virus disease, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 3. The service believes Ghana's health system is resilient and has been responsible for the early detection of and prompt response to outbreaks, including the current Marburg virus disease. It also said a number of healthcare workers were recently trained on the management of viral fevers across the country, even before the first Marburg virus disease was detected. Ghana's National Public Health Emergency Operations Center has been activated since the detection of the cases. The outbreak in Ghana is only the second in West Africa after it was detected last year in Guinea. In other parts of Africa, outbreaks have previously been reported in Uganda, Kenya, Angola, South Africa, and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Marburg virus really is, and you're going to see that on your screens very soon. It says, case 1, a 26-year-old male got ill on the 22nd of June this year and later bled from the nose and mouth. Was admitted to the hospital in Ashanti region on 26th of June 2022 and died died 28 hours after admission. And a 1-year, 2-month-old contact of case 1, son of case 1, got ill and was admitted on 17th of July this year. He died on the 3rd day of admission. Case 3 says a 24-year-old female mother of case 2 and wife of case 1. She's alive and well. She has since Tuesday, 26 July this year, been in a government-designated isolation center and is being managed with full implementation of strict infection prevention and control measures. And those are some summaries of confirmed cases here in Ghana. Away from that, about 50 young persons have died at lumber felling site in the last 2 years in Akrodia in the Sunafo North municipality of the Ahafo region. Residents of the township attribute this to the lack of secondary school facility and other employment avenues. Their only hope to salvage the crisis now resides in the completion of a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics school, which is currently under construction. The following report has more.
For many young people whose parents cannot afford secondary education outside the Akrodia Township, the Okada and lumber felling businesses are their last resort. These ventures also come with its own risk, as about 50 young persons have perished through these activities. Many of these young lumberjacks either die during ferrying or transportation of heavy wood logs, whilst the death of others occurs out of their Okada business. Residents believe these deaths would have been prevented, but for the lack of secondary education in the area, most parents who are predominantly peasant farmers find it difficult to afford secondary education for their wards outside the area and its attendant costs. They believe a secondary school facility within the township will help ameliorate the challenge. As of now, their last hope rests in an ongoing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics educational project sanctioned by government. Residents say they look earnestly for the completion of the project. Here are some of them speaking to Metro News.
Due to some issue, SSBI Okruma. And until youth no, a junior high na. Senka SS Okruma, Kebetima Bois, I'm a youth maybe. Ako school maybe. By SS na in here no. Ama uwie junior high school no crowd bi a wontimi anto aso a adwuma a wo se wo ye either say obepe moto na wo de aye okada ana say obekọ so me ho na wotimi de enya adwuma aka ho se de be ya ho sabekọ ano na even ni nyina achi no so ye say nya effect wo so ni adwuma na e baaye no omukọ bush ne omo so beams ne ade na asa kunkum youth ni bebre motor accidents. So far from 2020 to 2022 there, motor ne new adwuma there, Ekum boys there, ebebro be 50.
Boys see me koko so edbo say dua bu obi.
We are live on DSTV channel 277. We'll be back from the break with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's now time for business news. In business tonight, the Agyekum Kufuor Foundation has organized 8 maiden youth in agribusiness festival in Kumasi with a call on young people in the country to cultivate interest in farming.
The Agribusiness Festival was aimed at training participants on emerging and strategic agribusiness enterprises. Convener of the Youth in Agribusiness Festival, Jeffrey Ajimendria, shed more light on the Agribusiness Festival.
Kufuor Foundation in 2018 initiated a project called the Kufuor Young Entrepreneurs Network. And this project had the objective of cultivating the next crop of entrepreneurs, building their capacity, pushing them, and also helping them to be able to access finance. And after 2018, we realized that much of these young people within the agribusiness space, within the entrepreneurship space, are involved in agribusiness. So we decided that this year we are going to particularize the youth in the Kufuor Young Entrepreneurs Network to the Youth in Agribusiness Festival, so that we can use the success stories of young people who are already in the agribusiness sector to serve as a motivational tool to onboard more young people into the agribusiness sector.
Also, Director of West Africa Center for Crop Improvement of the University of Ghana, Professor Eric Irenchi Dankwa, is proposing targeted investments in local genetic innovation and development of a robust seed system for the selected crops for sustainability. Now, this, according to him, will transform the food systems of the country for better.
Graduates of the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement of the University of Ghana have produced over 250 improved and resilient varieties of staple crops such as cassava, sweet potato, maize, rice, bread, wheat, and others. In spite of this innovation by the center, Ghana is yet to tap into the potential. Ghana annually imports seeds and food, which cost the country $2.5 billion every year. At a press conference here in Accra, Professor Eric Irenchi Dankwa urged government to pay attention to research in its resolve to turn Ghana's economic fortunes around.
Kansas State University, the first land-grant university, 2019, their budget for research, 2019 alone, was $219 million. That's their budget for research alone. Let no ignorant person in this country, no matter where they may be, dream that without a National Research and Innovation Fund, well-funded, we can develop. Let's fund institutions like WACI to change the narrative in agricultural development space.
According to him, attempts to engage government since 2017 has proven futile.
We engaged the minister after he saw our varieties in 2017. To date, the government of Ghana has not put $1 into our maize project. My expectation was that, seeing our varieties, he will run to us so that we innovate to help him. But he hasn't done that. That, for me, is the failure of the Planting for Food and Jobs strategy. Because if they had adopted this, they could have brought an entrepreneur to work with us to get our varieties to all Ghanaian farmers. We would have stopped importing maize by now.
He called on government to refrain from blaming our economic problems on Russia-Ukraine war.
And let no one talk about a Ghana beyond aid and do what we are doing. And I would say it is shameful that we are blaming the Russians.
Sports is next. The much publicized GA Binding Greater Accra Table Tennis Championship kicked off today at the Accra Sports Stadium with 20 teams in the nation's capital competing for the next 16 weeks. Solomon Akono, who is the chairman of the Greater Accra Table Tennis Association, has been speaking.
I think it was a very successful week. I would say the first week has been very successful because you can see the number of people that are around here. It's almost about 200 to 250 people that are packed in this hall, and I think it will continue. We hope to raise the standard of table tennis in Greater Accra, and I can say you can see it for yourselves. We have very talented young guys that through this league their performance are going to go up. For the past 4 or 5 months, we were looking for sponsors to sponsor this Greater Accra league, but it has not been.
It's good that I'm playing the Greater Accra league. I love the game too.
Today, as my performance, it is good because I was ready to attack the forehand, backhand, and the person I was playing with was very tactical. So my coach gave me some tactics. And I used it for him.
Okay, today I played rubber. I didn't win, but I hope that the next time I'll do better.
And that's all for sports. Now time for some stories on the international front.
Senegalese voted this Sunday to elect the country's deputies. These elections stand as a decisive test for opposition parties trying to tackle the ruling party's influence ahead of the presidential election in 2024. Many fear President Macky Sall may seek a third term.
And that's it for the news. But before we go, a quick relook of our top stories. Government extends SIM card re-registration deadline from today to July 31 to September 30 to allow over 7 million more Ghanaians re-register their SIMs. Meanwhile, concerned mobile network subscribers rejects move to charge for the use of a SIM registration app for re-registration following extension of the deadline for the exercise. Four separate fire outbreaks at Accra, all in less than 48 hours, leaving one fire service officer injured and several properties destroyed. We heard from ACFO Timothy Osafo-Efum promising to increase their pace in adhering to all the rules. And on the international front, an unknown number of people killed and several others injured after United Nations peacekeepers opened fire at a border post in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you so much for watching. I am Bryce and Akwa Semenin. Have a good night and bye.